Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name's Jason Newland. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. And this is QNA Friday. One day I'll come up with a decent jingle. So before I start, I just want to send out best wishes to all of my listeners in Thailand who have had an earthquake today. So I just want to send my wishes, and I hope that you and your family are well and safe. Okay. Thailand there's a place in my heart with Thailand, because it's an amazing place and the people are also great. Now, I have questions. I'm actually not videoing this. The video's gone wrong. It's gone wrong. I think my face broke the camera, which was, it's bound to happen eventually. So I'm back to using audio only. Although I will create a video version of this, but it may just be a static image with the audio, which is fine. I think, well, it may not be fine, but it'll have to do. Most people that listen to the Q&A Fridays and stuff will be listening on the podcast anyway. There are some people that do, they do watch on YouTube, and I appreciate that as well. So thank you for anyone that does. I've currently got 1,542 subscribers. So it's gone up a little bit compared to a few days ago. It got static, and in fact I lost a few subscribers the other day, and then it went up. So was it 1,542? Yeah, it was 1,539. Then it went down to 1,538. Then it went up to 1,539. Then 1,54041. Yeah, so it started off 28 days ago at 1,496. So, hey, there you go. But it's warm in here. I might have to open that window, but unfortunately there might be some sound out there. What I've been doing actually the last few days, I've been kind of experimenting a little bit. I don't mean anything weird with a cucumber. What I mean is I put together 4 videos from some older recordings. Not old, but older hypnosis recordings, and made some videos. And also some background music and some background sounds as well. So I've been doing that. I did one, Melting Away Stress, which was released on the 27th, which was yesterday. Today's one, Stop Worrying and Be Positive, was released this morning. And then Relax Deeply is tomorrow. And 70 minutes Rain and Gentle Whispers is Sunday morning. Now the first 2 have some background music. The third one, Relax Deeply, has, and they're just static pages, like static images. The next 2 are actually videos, where the third one, Relax Deeply, has got waves, like a beach, and then there's the sounds of the waves as well. So that's throughout the whole video. That's 29 minutes long. And the 70 minutes rain and gentle whispers has got the sound of rain and a video of rain on some leaves and stuff. So, and that's like oh, how weird. Right, I messed that one up. I uploaded the wrong video. I uploaded the same video twice. So I'm going to have to... How did I manage to do that? That's very strange. 0328. Okay, I actually uploaded the wrong video. So I have to redo it. I wonder if I've still got the... I don't know. I'll just... if I just put 70 minutes... 70 minutes... I'm glad I checked that, because I thought, wait a minute, because I was about to say to you that was 70 minutes long. Because it's, you know, that's the title of it. But, wow, okay, cool. So that will be, I'll upload that while I'm talking to you. And add a cover. The cover, 70 minutes, raining gentle whispers. So that'll be done in the background. How strange. Luckily I hadn't released it yet, because that's for Sunday. And that's, I said, an hour and, well, it's an hour and 15 minutes, but I put 70 minutes just to, you know, if I put 76 minutes, it's not quite as catchy. Not that 70 minutes is catchy, you know. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing on YouTube. I haven't made a new recording since, I think, Wednesday. I think, let's have a look. Wednesday. Let me see. It's been a bit of a weird week for me. But I haven't, yeah, I haven't, what's happened going on? Cancel, oh no, okay. Cancel upload. Cancel. The last video I made this week, or last recording I made this week, was Let Me Bore You to Sleep, number 1311, which was the 25th of March. That's 3 days ago. So that'd be Tuesday then, I guess. Yeah, it's Friday now. And I did, the day before that, I did do the most relaxing ASMR video ever. And I did a Sunday summary. So I've only done 3 videos, or 3 recordings this week. 3 new recordings this week. Or 4 if you include this one. Which you should really. No. Yeah, include this one. Yeah, please do. So the last few days probably most of Tuesday, most of Wednesday, most of Thursday in bed. Just not you know, not really up to doing anything. Being a bit, no, just not being in the right space. But I'm feeling a bit better now. So the views, 369 for the most relaxing ASMR videos. So that's all right. That's had 19 likes. So that's one of those that's kind of gently growing in the background, like my big bum. And like my piles. No, stop. So yeah, that's it really. I mean, I'd love to tell you more about, you know, what's going on with me and stuff, but I just don't. I want to try and keep things nice and light. You know what I mean? Light. Try to. Yeah. But yeah, it's alright. It's just the way it is. Just how things are. So I've had a few questions. We did have 2 new members join this week on Jason Newland's boring group. So let's say a big hello to Rich, and I do believe it's Sarah is the other one. Let me have a look. Sarah, yes, it is. Wow, that was a good guess. That was not a good guess, really, was it? Just memory. So Sarah and Rich, welcome to Jason Newland's Boring Group, the place where 211 people occasionally visit. That's it. It's a good place to post questions for Q&A Friday, which I've been doing. It's weird actually, because I'm not sure if I've even missed one. Even on a week where I can't really do much, for those that don't know, I've got bipolar, and that's it. I'm not going to go into details, but there's times when I can't function. So that's just how it is. So this is one of those weeks where I had a few days where I just couldn't. Literally, I was on the cusp of. To be fair, I was on the cusp of maybe phoning for help. To be fair, it was a bit weird, but I've come out of it, so it's, I'm feeling better now. So 211 members of Jason Newland's Boring Group. A big shout out again, of course, well, I say of course, but to Molly. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but there was a post on here about Molly's brother, and I can't, if I can find it. I reposted it from Molly's Facebook page, and blimey, I post so much stuff I can't find it. But anyway, it is on there. I hope, just sending my best wishes out to Molly, and also to your brother as well, Molly. I hope things are going, okay, and genuinely I hope that you're both well. For those who don't know who Molly is, because there's people listening that aren't part of the Jason Newland's Boring Group on Facebook, join now. Now, it's just people that are not on there yet. So just to let you know, Molly is the boss of the group. She's the administrator. She's in charge of the group. I just do what she tells me. She bosses me around constantly. She shouts at me. Yeah. She's in Australia, but she doesn't need a phone. She just shouts, and I can hear her. She's got such a loud voice. You wouldn't believe it. She looks so innocent. So I got questions, and also a big thank you to everybody. And I genuinely mean this. Not that I wouldn't normally mean it, but for everybody that listens to my podcasts, everyone that watches my videos, everybody that leaves nice comments on my videos on YouTube, or posts nice comments on my Facebook group, just everybody. Anyone that sends me a PayPal gift, I'm not asking people to send me a PayPal. I'm just saying that everybody, everything is, it all helps. Like to see a lovely comment really does help me, and in ways that you're never really perhaps going to know. Like in the same way, maybe I won't realise how annoying I am to you. Maybe I'm never going to know quite how annoying I am to people that listen. But I like to think that I'm mildly annoying, but maybe not. I don't realise quite to the extent of my annoyingness. Maybe. So I just want to say thank you, because without this, whatever this is, this thing I do online, I don't know where I would be. Honestly, this is all I've got, really, and this has been my only bit of stability pretty much in my entire life. So, and it's lasted for 19 years, so I'm grateful, because it is kind of a bit of it's a bit of a life jacket sometimes. an uncomfortable life jacket at times, a bit burdensome. Sometimes I don't really want to, like, this stupid life jacket. But actually, it's really important that I have this, and I would be doing this whether I'd still be doing it if no one listened, but I don't know. Probably wouldn't actually. If it dwindled down, so I was getting like, 30 people a week listening to my podcasts, then I probably would. I might do one a week then, maybe. Well, I don't know. Even then, can you imagine? I mean, not like that. I don't get huge amounts of people listening, but I get a fair amount, which is in podcast terms. I'm in the top 10% of podcasts in the world for viewers or for listeners. I might even be in the top 5%, but there's a big difference between the top 5 and the top 4%. It jumps up to people getting like millions and millions of listeners every day. Of course, I'm not in that category, but I am somewhere. Where am I? So see, it's not. I mean, the last 30 days. I mean, literally today so far, 200 listens on this podcast, because I've got also SoundCloud as well, and some other. So on this one, not a lot, but averaging 1,000 over 1,000. So I had 30. I was loud, wasn't it? I've had 33,013 downloads in the last 30 days. So, I mean, it's not as much as I used to get. Is 30,000? I wonder if maybe it's not very good now. Is 30,000 podcast listens any good in a month? Here we go. Right. Of course, does it depend on... Oh, let's have a look. What's good into if you numbers... Right, okay, here we go. 2025, this is one. Explore podcast download stats and find out what good numbers look like. Learn to track and boost your podcast performance. Whatever that means. Obsessing over podcast download numbers is a bit like checking your bank account every hour. It doesn't make you rich. It's true. It doesn't make you rich. You're just more anxious. But, stats is, it's like with sales as well. It's just stats. It's standard to want to keep a track of how things are going. It says that Apple Podcasts accounts for 70% of podcast downloads. It's much higher for me, about 90%. Spotify, about 8.9%. See, I never understood that, right? Not never. I mean, not when I was 3. Spotify wasn't around. But for me, right, I would say, okay, you got podcasts. Who's the two most biggest podcast apps? I would say Apple. Then I would say Spotify. And that will, I mean, I know all the others, so it's not, I can't like pretend I don't know the others, because I do. I know every single podcast app there is, because that's what I do. But as a listener, I use Apple. What other ones have we got? I used to use Spotify. I'm on Spotify, but I used to pay for Spotify. I now pay for Apple Podcasts. It's kind of, I would have thought Spotify would have been, at least by now, I thought Spotify would have been one of the top ones. Like, you know, maybe have 40% of the market. Because they're so big, it's such a huge company. And I know it's hard to compete with one of the top 10 biggest companies in the world, which not Apple, it isn't, is it? I don't use Apple Podcasts. I use Amazon Music. What am I talking about? No, I don't pay for... I use Amazon Music. You can get podcasts on there. But I don't even know what I've got. But Apple Podcasts are the top anyway. That's where I get most of my listeners. Although you can listen to all my podcasts on my website. If you want to gauge the performance of your peers' podcasts, check their listen score and global bank on Listen Notes. However, I may use it to when I launch, just give me some stats, please, man. That's all I want. Right. Okay. Here we go. Buzzsprout, which is a podcast host, also shares monthly platform data. The recent numbers suggest that a podcast in the top 25% of shows will get 120 listens in the first 7 days. That's the top 25% of shows on the internet or online. It says here, now that feels incredibly reasonable. No, it doesn't. 120 listens in 7 days. It still looks to aim higher. Their data suggests that the top 5% of podcasts will have 1,120 downloads, and a top 1% will have just above 5,000 downloads in 7 days. Now, admittedly, because I do have a lot of podcasts, so I'm not getting 30,000 downloads in a month on one podcast, like one recording, I mean. But, you know, there's a lot of podcasts out there that are not getting as many downloads as I'm getting. But the ones that are getting a lot more are getting a lot more. Like a lot more. Like millions. My best ever. I can't show you this. No, I'm not going to talk about the stats, don't worry, but I am. I'm not, but I am. You know, I am, but I'm not. Like, briefly, that's what I mean. I'm not going to spend the whole time talking about statistics. So, but if I go back to 2000 and beginning of 2003, okay, here we go. Right. No, that's the wrong one. But okay, stats. Oh, it won't, will it? It won't do it. Oh, I can't get that. I can't get access to that unless I upgrade. Anyway, I know for a fact that I think it was November, December, January. So November 2022, December, January, February. So the end of 2022, beginning of 2023 was my highest amount of statistics ever. Like the most amount of listeners I ever had. And the audience built up during that period of 2000. Was it 2022? No, it wasn't. 2020. Let me have a look. I'm getting confused now. Getting confused. So is it? Okay, yeah, 2022. Right, here we go. Right, I got it wrong. I got the year wrong. That's what I got wrong. So the end of from September, during 2020, 2021, things really started to pick up because there was a lot more people at home during those 2 years. There's a lot of stuff going on, and the biggest months was 2022 was September 2022, October, November and December, and then things kind of started going back down to normal again. But I think it was December 2022, I got just under, oh god, what was it? Just under a million downloads in that month. It sounds like lying, doesn't it? It was like 980,000, something like that, which is a lot better than 33,000. I'm sure you'll agree. But that was back in the day when I could do long recordings with my own music, and before I lost all of my podcasts, which happened. Well, first of all, I lost all the ones with music, and then I started changing it. I lost. Weren't allowed to have ones just with music, so they went. And then I wasn't allowed to have ones. What was it? There was a couple of times I pretty much lost my podcasts, and then I went through a period of November last year, November the year before last, all the way through till last October, where I didn't even use Spreaker. I just used SoundCloud only, because again I lost my podcasts again, which has annoyed me. But altogether on Spreaker, 15,129,077 stats. That's altogether the total downloads. So that's not too bad, is it? Not too bad. Not really. Not too bad. Not really. You know what I mean? Not too bad. It's all right, I guess. You break it down. This is, you know what I mean? It's all right. It's okay. So yeah, and that was it. So according to this question, in fact, I'm going to ask exactly the same question. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT, because they're going to be because it's not a podcast. Is 30,000 podcast listens, I'm going to slash downloads any good in a month? Let's have a look. Yes, 30,000 podcast listen downloads in a month is very good, especially for an independent creator. Yeah, that's a point, because there's no promotion. I'm not famous or anything, celebrity. There's quite a few celebrities over the recently, but over the last few years that have been really successful, but they were already famous and they've had podcasts, and it's almost like they've got their own TV show, and they're making a lot of money. Most podcasts get fewer than 150 downloads per episode in the first 7 days. Okay, so yeah, I suppose it's hard to gauge, because not necessarily per episode is kind of all in all over time, So yeah. So questions. I'm going to start with questions that are not on my actual group. So I'm going to start with Sebastian. I know we like to not try to pretend he's not here, but he is. he's listening to this, Mr. Sebastian. Knickers, Kynikos. Let's see what picture he's got for his profile at the moment. Right, there's probably still a picture of me that he's made. He's used my picture for his profile picture sometimes, and he ages me by 40 years or stuff. Honestly, I didn't even realise it was me until I saw the background, which was my bookcase. It's like, really? Am I really going to look like that? It's like, wow. I'm definitely going to be single forever. Did you watch the new Snow White yet? I mean, we both know you're banned from various cinemas in your area, so... Okay, Sebastian, I'm not. Stop being rude. Did I watch the new Snow White? No, because I don't go out. I don't go to a cinema. I've not. Couldn't even tell you the last time I went to a cinema. Not because I'm being secretive. I just can't remember. When's the last time I went to the cinema? I'm pretty sure I went to see the new... Well, it's not new now. It's the... not Magnificent Seven. The Thing. What's the Thing in? The Thing. Oh, wow, it's not the movie. The person. The character. The character. The Thing. If I put in Marvel, I really do believe that if they could have made a thing about that. So it was part of The Thing. Fantastic Four. That's the one. Blimey. The Fantastic Four. When they remade that one, but it's not the remake of the remake. They've now on the second remake, which I watch all of them. But the Fantastic Four movies, the ones in the 2000s, like 2005, 2006, 7, whenever it was, 2003. I really like those. There is a new one, Fantastic Four First Steps, 2025. I'm pretty sure there's been... I think there's been a few. I think there's been like... This is like the third remake. Fantastic Four in film. Let's have a look. I'm confusing myself a little bit, but it's fine. Okay, Fantastic Four was released 2005. Okay, I was roughly right on that. Rise of the Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four 2007. I watched both those movies. I'm pretty sure... Well, yeah, that would have been before I started at college. Now, the reboot of the series, Fantastic Four, directed by John Trank, was released 2015, and I went and saw that at the cinema. So yeah, that was 10 years ago. I went to this. I think that's the last time I went to the cinema, and it bombed at the cinema. And I didn't care. I watch every single Marvel movie. I am dedicated. 2019, they made another. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. What? They did another one, 2015. Are you telling me that was 10 years ago? The last one that was brought out was 10 years ago. So the one now... I'm sure there was another one since then. I'm sure there was one a couple of years ago. Don't tell me that 10 years have gone by that quickly. That's just wrong. No, can't. It can't. No. No. In March 2019, Marvel Studios regained the film rights for the Fantastic Four and associated characters along with the X-Men, Deadpool, blah blah blah. The Fantastic Four First Steps, part of the 6 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is scheduled to be released on July 25th, 2025. No. Are you serious? The last one that I watched was 2015. How can it be 10 years? How? How? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It just. No. Wow. Okay, fair enough. I'm moving on from that because I've just aged. It's weird. I can't grasp it, and I won't. So, no. My answer to your question, Sebastian, is no. I didn't watch Snow White. Haven't watched Snow White, and unfortunately, it is probably something that I would have watched, but the press has been trashing it like real big time, which means I probably won't watch it. And then one day, maybe 5-10 years from now, I'll be sitting around with my grandchildren at Christmas, and they'll say, "Grandpapa," I said, "Yes, little Andre. Can me and Vinny, can we?" I don't know why they're both called Andre and Vinny. Can we watch Snow White? And I'm thinking, yeah, I haven't seen that in years. Okay, let's put that on. Thinking it's the Disney animation one. And then they put this film on. I'm like, oh, what's this? I've not seen this. He said, "Oh, but Grandpapa, it's Snow White." I said, "I know what it is. I can see the title." And what? Because I'm going to be grumpy. I will be very grumpy. I'll be kind and loving, but I will be grumpy. I won't have any patience. I'll be loved and respected, and I don't want people tiptoeing around me, but I will be probably grumpy when I'm that age, as opposed to now when I'm just a delight. And I'll probably watch it. I might want to think, wow, this is really good. I mean, if I can keep awake for it, but yeah, this is good. And then I might think, oh, I might feel like, why didn't I watch this? I'll probably say to him, I can't believe it. I should have watched this last year. I remember when this was released. I should have watched it last year when it was released. And I was saying, but Grandpapa, that was 20 years ago that was released. Well, actually, probably be like, and I'll say, I can't believe 20 years. Are you serious, Andre? And Andre go, yeah, I am serious, Grandad. Like, because he's also aged, because time goes so quickly when you're old. I mean, literally, you can watch a puppy grow in front of you. Time seems to just go so quick. The last 10 years, in parts, it's dragged. There's been some real drag. I mean, the last 3 days is dragged, but it's been a draggy day. Drag. There's been times when it's that moment. When you're waiting. I remember one of the not worst times, but something I really noticed the time when time was kind of distorted, when I'd be waiting to see the cashier at the bank with 10 minutes to get back to work, and it was a 15-minute walk. It was going to be like a jog to get back in time. But I had to get to the bank in order to get money. You know, it was like an important thing I needed to do. Oh, another time, oh, I remember, and you just watch the clock, and it's surreal. It's like the time's going slowly, but at the same time, everything else is going even slower. I remember just before Christmas, back in, I don't know, 2000, 2012, I was working full time as a counsellor. Well, full time, that was my only job. It wasn't full time. And I was at Mind, and I had a cheque worth about £1,000, just over £1,000. So that was more than a month's worth of clients, because you have to wait until the 6 sessions were done. And sometimes that would take, if there was an extension, or, you know, it'd take a while. So anyway, I handed it in probably a week before, and I needed to get it in on the Friday, the cheque. So I needed to get a cheque into the bank on the Friday, because that was I think, to give me time to get, I think Christmas Eve was the Wednesday, something like that. So I needed to get it in to give me enough time for it to cash, because it needed something like 2 working days to cash. And there was like, I don't know, 20, 25, 30 minutes until the bank closed. And I'm waiting for the cheque to be made, to be printed out. So I'm talking to the bloke who works in the accountants section of Mind. Always got on really well with him. He's a lovely bloke. So we're just chatting, and I realised the time's like, and it literally wasn't even a distance. It wasn't a long distance from, it's like down one alleyway, turn left, cross over, and then cross over the other side, and that's the bank there, next to Subway. Really close, you know. I think there was I'm sure there was this, like, oh God, there was this shop. It wasn't the pound shop, wasn't Poundland. It was an independent shop that was selling cheap stuff, and a big logo. They couldn't call themselves Poundland or the Pound Shop, so they called themselves Around a Pound. That was the name of the shop. So that was on the right, and opposite that was Subway sandwich place, and then next to that was the bank. So I'm like waiting, and time is tick 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 ticking, and eventually he gives me the cheque. I'm so I'm depending on this money. It wasn't just I had to pay the rent, but I had to get Christmas presents, and I was visiting my dad, and so, you know, my family were all going to be there, so I had to get presents for them. And so I forgot about 6 minutes, maybe 7 minutes to get to the bank. So I'm not running full pelt. I'll be honest. I'm not going to pretend that I was running full pelt, because I can't pretend that I've been able to run full pelt since I probably was 14. So, but I was jogging, well, not nicely jogging, but I was jogging. I was moving faster than walking speed, my walking speed. There were people that were walking really slowly that were overtaking me, but that's not valid. That's not relevant to the story. And and there's going to be lots of traffic. Obviously, there's going to be traffic, so there's traffic there. But I managed to get over. There's traffic lights, so I managed to get across the road, and then I managed to get across the other road. But I've got maybe a minute, and I don't have a watch or anything. So I think I'm not sure if I even had my phone on me. So I'm just kind of like, hey, I've got to get into that bank. Once I'm in, I'm fine. So I run towards the bank. Bearing in mind this is December. Let's say if Christmas on Thursday, Christmas Eve on Wednesday, so that's the 24th. 23rd would be Tuesday. 22nd would be Monday. 20th would be Sunday. 19th would be Saturday. 18th would be Friday. So it'd be 18th of December. So it was cold and probably icy and stuff. Well, I'm running and I trip over the steps of the bank, because this is like a really old building, like proper hundreds and hundreds of years old, probably 500-600 years old, maybe older than some countries. And I tripped, but I didn't just trip, I actually smacked the top of my foot on this step. I broke my foot, like completely. It's actually one of the most painful things that I've ever had. I'd say it was possibly more painful than when I did my back, when I fractured my back. It was really bad. A couple of people came to help me to see if I was okay, and I said, yeah, thanks. And I heard them talking like, you're going to try and help him up, and the other one said, no, he's too fat. You'd need some kind of pulley system to get him off the floor. I'm like, I can hear you. Literally, you're just behind me. I can hear you. And they just giggled and ran off, holding hands. They might have been strangers and found love. So, it's quite a romantic story to tell their grandkids, isn't it? I suppose. So I hobble in there. I mean, at this point, I don't realise quite. I'm just thinking, I just sprained myself. Because, getting a sprained ankle is just, And I hobble in and I put the cheque in, and they're all laughing at me, struggling to crawl towards the counter. And so I put that in and I get out. I go home. I've struggled to make it home. And up 3 flights. Yeah, is it 3 flights of stairs we had in that house? Or was it 2? Maybe there was 3 floors. Maybe it's 2 flights of stairs. Was I living? No, I wasn't living there. I was living in the other place. I was living in the dungeon at that time. So I was living there, and I made my way home. It was never far to travel, because I lived in town from 2011 March all the way until March 2015. So it was 11, 12, 13, 14. So for 4 years I was literally in the town centre pretty much, which was handy, really handy, because I could go out but not have to really put much effort in. Just go for a walk, go and visit. I mean, this is back in the day, like 2012, 2013, 2014. I would visit my friends in the evolution shop, my Buddhist friends, and, just have a chat with them maybe for 20 minutes, go and feed the squirrels in the park. That was a thing I was doing very regularly. And because I'd been a little bit I'd been unwell, so I was just trying to kind of get recovery in that. And it was actually good to be in town. It was good because I had a supermarket literally across the road from where I lived. The laundrette was across the road. Everything I needed was just, very close by. So yeah, I don't know what the point of that was. Oh yeah, so I left it thinking, I just went home thinking, I just sprained it or whatever. Now, my foot was black. Literally, the top of my foot, my toes. I think I think at least the first three toes, the thumb. How come I've got a thumb, but the toes is just toes? You know what I mean? Like the foot toe. I don't know why we call it the big toe. It's the foot. It's the foot thumb. That's what I'm trying to say. It's the foot thumb, isn't it? So the foot thumb was black and red, and the other two toes next to it were as well, and all across it, all the way up to my ankle, black, blue, multicolours. It was very weird, and I couldn't move it. It was seriously painful. So I made my way to the hospital, and it wasn't an ambulance situation. It was just, I've hurt my foot. That's pretty much it. So I went to the hospital, to the walk-in centre, because I think I phoned the doctor up, and they said go to the walk-in centre. Or did it? I phoned someone up to find out what I should do, because I was struggling to move, to be honest. I didn't have any money to get a taxi. I couldn't afford to even get a bus, because I was literally had no money until the money cleared for that, which would hopefully be by the Tuesday, I was hoping. Or worst case scenario, by the Wednesday, when I had to travel up to my dad's, which I think it did clear by then. Yeah, I think it was Wednesday it cleared. And so I hobbled to the walk-in centre, and the walk-in centre was probably about a 10-minute walk from the hospital. It was all connected, all the buildings were connected, kind of, the area. It's the whole area was part of the hospital, but it was a 10-minute walk from the hospital. So I go in there, and they said, I said, can you tell me, can you x-ray or something? They said, no, we don't have access to that here. I said, well, why have I come here then? He said, I don't know why you come here. I imagine it's because you hurt your foot. I was like, okay, I'm not going to get anywhere here. He just looked at it and like, yeah, you've hurt it. I know I've hurt it. That's why I'm here. It was one of those lies like, ugh, what have you done there? Like, well, clearly, I mean, it was it wasn't messy or anything, but it was completely, yeah, it was the wrong colour. And they said, well, you can go up to the hospital. You'll be in there probably all day to get it x-rayed. But it's up to you. So I said, okay, thanks. And I said, right. So they wouldn't do anything other than they looked at it and they said, does this hurt? I said, yeah. They said, I thought it would. Why did you do it then? Can you move it? No. Oh. And I said, can you tell whether it's broken or not? Just from, and he said, no, I can't tell just by looking at it. I said, I can't move it, and it's really hurting. I said, well, you have to go to the hospital. You have to go to A&E. So I said, I gave him a kiss and Merry Christmas and that. Gave him the present I'd already prepared. So then I came out, and honestly, I'm starting to walk towards the hospital. Can't do it. I can't physically do it. I'm too much. That's sad, isn't it? I was in too much pain to get to hospital. But at the same time, I knew that it wasn't anything serious, just a break or a fracture or whatever. It's like, so I knew it wasn't a medical emergency. So there's no way I would have called an ambulance. but I also couldn't. There's no way of getting there because my dad didn't live nearby. He lives like 2 towns away. He lives quite a fair distance. I mean, if he was, to be fair, if I'd have called him up, he would have come and helped me. But I wouldn't do that. Yeah, that's a fact. Actually, if I said to him, I've got a broken foot and I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere, he would come and help me. Or he would send me money to get a taxi. Or, he'd help me out somehow. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't even think about doing that, really. And so I had to give up getting to the hospital. And it took me a couple of hours to get home. I had to keep stopping and sitting down every time I could on a wall or a bench or whatever. And I just like had to accept that, it's a broken foot. I have to wait for it to heal. So, and it did take about 6-7 weeks. And I just used to try and keep off of it as much as possible. Or if I had to walk, I'd like put a little bit of pressure on the heel. But it was, yeah. I'm not sure if I got a stick or something to... I might have done, actually. I might have actually used a stick to get around with. But it was, yeah, it was like, wow. So the money doesn't go until Wednesday. And I'm going to see my dad on a Wednesday. So I just thought, I suppose I could have gone to the hospital then. Because I had the money to get there. But I was like, no, it's Christmas Eve now. Apart from the fact that it's going to be super busy there. Probably less staff than normal probably as well. And I thought, nah, I'll just go to my dad's. So I get a taxi. No, I get a bus because there's a bus just opposite where I live, so it's quite easy. Got a bus to the train station. And then got a train... 2 trains to where my dad lives, and there was no taxis outside the train station. I thought, oh, so, and I had loads, like a bunch of presents and stuff. So I phoned up my dad's and my brother. I said, do me a favour. And I've never asked anyone to come and pick me up from the train station before, but I was like, can you please help me? I can't walk. I'm struggling. Can you just come and pick me up, please? And he said, no, you're too heavy. We laughed. He said, no, can you... And he did. Came and pick me up. And the whole of that Christmas, I was hobbling. I couldn't... Honestly, it was ridiculous. I had this sock on. I couldn't wear shoes. I couldn't put shoes. My foot was like 17 times bigger than my other foot. Normally it's normally about 8 times bigger. So it's like, wow. It was my right foot as well. Not that really makes a difference. I mean, we've got a handedness, haven't we? Like right hand, left hand. But when it comes to feet, unless you're like a sports person that involves feet, I don't think really footedness really matters, does it? If you're right-footed or left-footed. I mean, I'm right-footed, but I don't, if I was to kick a ball, it would be with my right foot, but it still wouldn't end up where I aimed it, because I don't, I actually embarrassed myself the other day. I was in the park and there's a school backed off to the park, and they've got like a playground or playgrass, whatever, where they play football. And there was, I think there's like 7 footballs they'd kicked over the fence into the field, into the park. Please, mister, can you kick the ball back? So, okay. There was enough distance for me to, I mean, I wasn't aiming at his head, but I was aiming it like to go over the fence. 3 times I couldn't even get over a fence, which was probably 4 foot high. In the end, I had to like pick it up and chuck it over. And I tried it with a couple of the other balls, and in the end, I just Just ridiculous. Just picked them up and chucked them. Because I never was much of a footballer, but I'm even less one now. Yeah. So that, I think I've answered that question for Sebastian. The next question, will you be doing the Sunday papers? This is from Rich. They were my favourite episodes. In my job, I travelled all over Europe and Asia. Would love to hear those. Okay, I can't even remember what I did on the Sunday papers. I just talk about this. I know this is going to sound like I'm being facetious. I know that's the right word. I think I used the online app, didn't I? Because I can't buy the newspapers because they're like, blimey, they're like £3 each, I think. I suppose I could. No, I don't go out. I don't want to go out. So yeah, I'll look at about doing that maybe. Because I've been doing a Sunday summary the last, more recently. Although I didn't. I mean, really, apart from the Q&A Friday, I've not been particularly wonderful at sticking to a timetable. You know, I'll admit to that. I haven't necessarily been great at that side of things. But, you know, I'm giving it a go. I am. I'm genuinely trying to. It's just I can't. I never know how I'm going to be from one week to the next. One day to the next. 1 minute. So yeah, maybe I'll try and do that this weekend. So I'll try and look into doing that. I suppose I could do a Saturday summary. The only thing about Saturdays is often, and as often as I'd like it to be more often, is there's boxing on Saturday night. And depending on what I like during the day and the amount of noise outside, the amount of noise, you know, in the building will depend on whether or not I make a recording on Saturday. Because it can get quite noisy sometimes. And it could be a little bit of a distraction. But we'll see. We'll see. So I'm thinking I'll try to do one. But when there's boxing early hours of the morning, it's at night in America, so it's on like 3 o'clock in the morning, starting at maybe 1 or 2 in the morning in the UK. So it kind of disrupts my Sunday a bit. But yeah, I'll look into it, Rich. So leave it with me and I shall have a look. You know, when I was 16, when I was 16, and I had my first flat above the chip shop, the famous chip shop flat, every Sunday, pretty much every Sunday for the year that I lived there, I would go to the newsagents. It was the same newsagents that I used to deliver papers for. Oh yes, when I was a kid, 2 years earlier. Blimey, probably a year and a half earlier, probably. A year earlier, it wasn't that long before. So I used to go there. I can't remember the name of the shop. It's not the same people anymore. I don't think any of the shops were the same people anymore. No. I remember when we had two really cool things happen locally. 7-Eleven appeared. Like, they were I don't know, they were in my town, but if they were in my town, then they were very likely everywhere in the UK at that time. And this was 1987. And then they all just disappeared and moved to Thailand. Because they're everywhere in Thailand. Honestly, like everywhere. There's, I don't know how many there are. Should we check? You might think I'm lying, because I'm not. How many 7-Elevens in Thailand? Right. Okay, right. You ready for this? Are you ready? See, sometimes it might seem like I'm making stuff up. This is according to cktravels.com. But there's also another one called statista.com. 5th of August 2024. So it's ranging. Here it says there's over 13,000 7-Eleven stores in Thailand. It's rapidly expanding since the first 7-Eleven store opened in 1988. And according to this, 2024, over 14,500. So I don't know. I reckon they probably don't even know. But there's a lot. There is a lot. A lot. Oh, apparently it's the world's biggest. So if they got, that must be the biggest country. Because I'm thinking 7-Eleven. How many 7-Eleven stores worldwide? In the US, okay, in the US, 9,402. So there's more 7-Eleven stores in Thailand than there are in America, where I do believe 7-Eleven came from. And 7-Eleven's got 70,000 stores worldwide. Wow. I'm assuming it started in America. 7-Eleven is an American convenience store chain. Headquarters in Irving. The chain was founded in 1927. Wow. The only reason I thought it was an American because I've seen movies from like long time ago where they had 7-Eleven stores there. So it's almost part of the psyche. Is it psyche? The social. We think it's like nearly 100 years. It's a bit like McDonald's. Didn't have a McDonald's in the town that I lived in when I was a kid, but we had one in the next town. Now they've got one in the town, but it was, we had a Wimpy. Still got a Wimpy. But the Wimpy's been around for a long time, isn't it? The Wimpy burger. I remember was it Popeye? Was it Popeye's dad, Wimpy? I give you 2 burgers for, if you give me 1 burger today, I'll give you 2 burgers tomorrow. Something like that. It's the same, it's this kind of similar thing around here. People say, lend me £20 or score, because if someone says, can you lend me a score, then that's basically what they're doing with the money. So can you lend me £20 today and I'll give you nothing tomorrow and I'll avoid you. So that's pretty much how it works around here. So what's the other questions? Oh, also there was this other shop that was near the newsagents. It's not, just kind of across the road from the chip shop. And there was, what was it called? It's still there, but it's not. I mean, it is, but it's not the same owners. It's gone through lots of different ownerships since 1987. But it was like a sandwich shop. It was really nice. You know, they made really good sandwiches, proper fresh bread, fresh rolls. Big. It was, yeah. So I used to buy stuff from there on a Sunday morning. It wasn't expensive either. I think I got a discount because they knew me. And I used to I'd get the papers, I'd come home, I'd get and back then papers were cheap, like 20 pence each or whatever. So I'd get News of the World, Sunday Mirror, Sunday People. News of the World, Sunday Mirror, probably those 3 papers. I'd bring them home, I'd read them, maybe eat my breakfast while I was reading them. And then it was weird because quite often there was nothing else to do. Wasn't working that day. There was nowhere. Couldn't really do anything. I could, but I don't know. But I used to just almost collapse, kind of just. I'd be in bed all day. It was weird. I did that a lot during that year. I just all day long on a Sunday, just be in bed. Just all lying on the floor in bed because I think I sold my bed, and just lying there on the mattress, like listening to Michael Jackson. It's weird times. So I don't know how did that come up? Who asked me a question about that? How's Vinny's mum? Hilary asks. I don't see her really, to be fair. I don't really see her. You're talking about the human one, as opposed to his biological mother. Yeah, I'd like to see his biological mother. I'd love to see what he's like, if he can remember her. Because there's that connection, isn't there, that, I don't know. Tell you what annoyed me today about him. See, my neighbour, my elderly neighbour, I've been trying to help him out with some stuff. So he came in today, and the same happened yesterday. He sits down on the chair, the neighbour, and Vinny jumps all over him. And he doesn't like it, because Vinny's trying to lick his face, and Vinny literally won't settle. He won't just sit down and cuddle him or lay down like he does with me. He just won't settle the whole time. So I end up having to put him into the bedroom. Vinny was screaming. My neighbour thought he was whistling because he was like screeching so high. He doesn't normally do that, so I don't know what it is. I guess maybe he's seen quite a bit of him now, and he loves him. I suppose Vinny loves him and just wants to. He's excited to see him and he wants to spend time with him. But he was just, I couldn't do anything because I was trying to order stuff online for him for a delivery, and Vinny was like making all this fuss, and he was making a fuss. Get off me. Maybe the neighbour out over the fence is screaming about something, shouting. Hilary. So I don't know about his mum. I don't really see her. Ing asks, how long does it take you to create one episode of Let Me Bore You to Sleep? In average. Prepare, speak, edit, upload, etc. Okay, thanks, Ing. One thing, Hilary, is when he does see her in the street, he goes nutty with excitement. I get him home and he misbehaves. He's just naughty when he gets back. Like, he doesn't want to come home here. He wants to go around hers. And he can't. But he just so misbehaves when he gets back. It's like I guess he's a teenager now. And he has a strop, has tantrums. Which is weird. Sometimes it takes a couple of days before he gets back to normal. So how long does it take me to create one episode of Let Me Bore You to Sleep? So, if I'm actually, in a way, if I do it on camera, it's quicker because it's easier to edit if I film it, because every time there's a, like the what's it outside screaming, I can just stop the recording and then just press record again whenever I'm ready. Let's bang this thing. But with this one, I have to go through, listen through it, because when I've stopped and started, all I've got to do is just edit off, trim off the end and the beginning of each video particle, as it were, clip. When I do a recording like this using the audio only, the editing can take a bit longer. I mean, sometimes you can see the spikes in the things. You're like, okay, what's that? Just check it. And to be fair, the noise isn't that bad, so I probably wouldn't worry about just a bit of shouting for whatever's going on out there. But if it was, there's some bloke messing around with a motorbike earlier on, I couldn't have done a recording while that was going on. So, yeah, let's go through what is it. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, there's the speaking, the preparing bit. I don't prepare, as in I don't know what I'm going to say. So there's no preparation from that angle. If I'm doing a video, then I have to prepare by putting on a clean shirt, make myself look sexy, But other than that, just turn all the lights on, try and make sure the background isn't too messy. But then there's also there's that. So it's a little bit of preparation, not a huge amount, like maybe 10 minutes prep really for the video, maybe 15, because I video and check it a couple of times and make sure the sound's okay and everything like that, which it wasn't today, which is why I'm doing the audio only. And I'm not sure how much of that was to do with the batteries, so I'm going to recharge the batteries and see whether or not it fixes. Beep, 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 beep. So that's a prepare. The speak bit is me just however long I just speak. Sometimes it can be, it's rarely less than an hour, isn't it, with the Let Me Bore You to Sleeps. I don't often speak for less than an hour. And I just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And then when it's finished, I stop. That's a really good way to explain it. But there's no ending in sight, because I don't know. I mean, it's probably easier to end these ones because I literally am here for a reason. I'm trying to answer the questions that have been asked if I can. I don't always do a great job of it, but I'll give it a go. And I speak. Yeah, so that takes about an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. I've had recordings last 3 hours in the past, but that's not too often. Yeah, not too often. Editing, if the audio is a good quality, the actual editing itself of the audio is fairly easy, as far as just checking there's no unnecessary spikes where the microphone has got some weird sounds or anything like that, where I've kind of maybe, I don't know, pops they call it, I do have a pop filter on this microphone. So what I do is, when I go to edit it, I take the SD, STD, SD card out of the recording equipment, and then I connect it to my iPad. I open up audio editing software on my iPad, and I start to I listen to it. So I open it up, I listen to the recording, and quite often I have to increase the audio because it's not loud enough. So I increase the audio so it sounds a bit louder, and then I have to yawn for some reason. Then I cut out the first bit, because there's bits before I start the recording where I might be just doing voice exercises and stuff. And then as the ending, when I said goodbye, I'm getting up and talking to Vinny and stuff, so I cut that bit out generally. Not always, but usually. And then I do a fade in, fade out. And ironically, just as I was saying that, guess who started barking? Vinny did. Vinny started barking. Oh yes, it was Vinny. It really was. Which was, I would argue, slightly annoying. Slightly annoying. So I don't know why he must have heard something. It's weird, all that shouting outside, he didn't bother with that. But something that I couldn't hear affected him. I don't know what. I reckon someone just shouted out, "Sausage!" Someone in another country probably, and he's like, "Oh," because he'll hear that. Anyone in the world says the word sausage, he'll hear it. Sausage. And so I will then, when I'm doing a recording, and if he starts barking, what I have to do is stop talking. I clap my hands, not too close to the microphone, but I clap my hands a couple of times. I'm not going to do a demonstration, because if someone's fallen asleep, that would wake them up, I reckon. And then I use that as a marker. So there's a spike when I go to the recording to do the editing. So I'll be doing it with this one. I will see that spike because it's a big spike. If I didn't clap my hands, I probably wouldn't hear him barking, because it's not that loud. Because it's not close to the mic. It's loud. It's too loud to have on a recording, but it's not as loud as the spike that there would be for me clapping my hands. So I edit that bit out. Right, he started barking again. I think it was just the neighbour downstairs just closing a window. That's it. That started him off. I don't know why something like that gets him barking, but someone in the garden shouting doesn't. It's weird. So what I decided, instead of chucking him out the window, I'd give him a sausage. Yes, we did. So the neighbour across the road, his uncle, who is kind of like his granddad really, he bought a pack of sausages for Vinny. And so I went and got him a sausage just now, and he's happy. He's happy again. He's satisfied. He's not satisfied because he's greedy. He's never satisfied. I'm pretty sure that he would, if he could, he would eat while he was pooing. Honestly, he never, ever has had enough sausages. I could give him more. He wouldn't stop eating them, which is why I would never give him continuously. Although I got one last one that's on my desk. So that's a pretty good example of what I have to do with the editing. Because again, when I make the video, I just press stop and I start a new video clip when he's gone, and it's much easier to edit. But hey, that's fine. It's just, it takes a little bit longer. So it can take anything up to, because this recording, I just looked, I've been talking for about an hour and a half nearly. It's probably going to last, it'd probably take me about half an hour to edit the recording. Maybe a little bit longer depending, if it's probably about half an hour to an hour for the editing for a long audio. And then there's once I've edited the recording with no music, I save that, and then I create a version which is 5 hours long with no music. So I've already got that clip that I copy and I put it to the end of the recording. Then I do a 10-hour version. I do that one. So that takes a while to process and save. This is all saved on the Apple, the iPad. So it's not uploaded yet. And then I do the one with music. So I add music on the background, music to the original no music one. And then a 5 and 10 hour version. So that's 6 recordings. And then I upload them to Let Me Bore You to Sleep podcasts on Spreaker. And then I add them to 6. So that takes, I don't know, about half an hour. And then I upload them to, it depends on the internet really, but I upload them, then I add them to Hypnosis for Sleeping Deeply. That's the podcast. That means they'll also be added onto my website automatically. So that's usually the place I first add them. So that's another half an hour. And then I go to SoundCloud and I add them onto the 2 SoundCloud accounts. So that's another half an hour each. So that's 2 hours uploading time. That's not with video, that's just the audio. The video is a whole new thing, so I won't go into that. This is just for the audio. And then I make an image. Now, what I've been doing more recently is I have an idea. I try and go on like, what did I talk about? And sometimes it's as simple as just asking ChatGPT to create me an image for whatever, and I ask what I want. At other times, I'll ask for part of the image, then I'll ask for a different image, then I'll search online for another image, and I'll basically put them all together on Canva. So I use Canva, which is a image and video editing software. So I do all the editing on there for the image. So sometimes that can take me, sometimes it's really quick, like literally minutes. Sometimes I'll be an hour doing it. It depends, if I've got multiple different things to go on there, and I'm also making an image for the YouTube video as well, which I do now. I can sometimes get a little bit caught up in it, but probably on average maybe 10 to 20 minutes up to half an hour working on the images, possibly. It's hard to work it out. I've never really taken much notice. I just get on with it. And then adding the images to the podcasts, again, that takes time. I mean, it's all easy stuff, but it's time consuming. It's like doing one, two. So that's probably another 20 minutes, half an hour to add to all the different podcasts, those images. And then I share the podcast, a new podcast, to Facebook. So there's one Facebook page, which was Jason Newland, and I've got a Facebook group, which is Jason Newland Hypnotist, and then I've got Let Me Bore You to Sleep and Jason Newland Hypno, whatever. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's the Jason Newland's boring group. So that's 5 different Facebook places that I post the link to the name of the title of the recording, and then I add my website address, and then I added the image of the podcast image. So I do that 5 times for each of the, for each page, Facebook page or group. And then I've still got to do the video. Even if I've not made a video, I've still got to put a video together. Now there's 2 ways I can do that. I do have a podcast connected to my YouTube channel, so it's one specific podcast that's completely separate, and it's, can't remember the last thing I added to that. Right, March the 5th, so that's the last time I added anything directly from my podcast. So since then I've been making videos, so I can do that, and it adds it straight away. Well, not straight away, it takes a couple of hours, but it ends up being on YouTube and processing. Or and that'll just be the same images from the podcast. Or what I will do is I can make a video, and I use, what do I use? I use CapCut. So I open CapCut up, I import the audio recording, and then I can, if I've made a podcast, like a YouTube thumbnail from the podcast on Canva, like an image, I'll add that to it, and then I can maybe do some other stuff, like with the Let Me Bore You to Sleep, there's a few things I could do, which I might start to do, but it's going to be very time consuming, and it will take hours just to sort of add some little videos, some silly videos connected to what I'm saying. So I might start doing that. I might start playing around with it. But it takes, for an hour and a half video, just with an image, it doesn't take a huge amount of time, probably 20 minutes to upload. If it was with like video footage, it'll take maybe anything up to an hour to process, and then to upload it to YouTube directly is probably another, if it's a video, then it's going to take ages. But if it's just a video with an image, just one static image and background sound, it probably take about 20 minutes, half an hour, with the processing, maybe an hour including all the processing. But if I do a video, it's a different process. So I start from the video first. So what I do, if I make a video, let's say recently, or last week's Q&A Friday, made a video, I then have to transfer the videos onto an SD card via an adapter. Then I need to put that and that takes probably an hour, because big files, like 12 gigabytes or something like that for an hour of footage, so it could be 15-16 gigabytes for a long Let Me Bore You to Sleep. And then transfer that to my laptop, transfer it, so that's another 10-15 minutes to transfer it, and then open up CapCut, which is a video editing software that I pay for, import the video, or the video clips. Now the less clips are better for me because it doesn't take so long. But if there's, I had one the other day and there was about 28 clips or 27 clips because of all the different interruptions I had. So it took me hours to get it. I couldn't all do it in one. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't do it all in one go. Had to have about 3 or 4 breaks. It took too long. I nearly gave up, to be honest. I nearly thought, you know what? But then I couldn't, because I couldn't even have an audio, because that's how I get the audio. So what I do is I put the video together, edit it, make the audio correct, volume, and then I download it as an MP3. Do the fade in, fade out. So download it as an MP3, and then with the video, I will download the video as a MP4 4K, and that can take an hour and a half to download that. So in the meantime, when I'm doing that with the audio, once I've downloaded, I would upload that on my laptop to Spreaker, to one of the podcasts. Then I'll go over to my iPad. I will download the episode onto my iPad, and then open up with the audio editing and work on it like I did before, like I said. So go through that process from there while the video's processing. So yeah, there's a fair bit involved. None of it's hard, really. I suppose not really. I mean, I've been doing it a long time, and before I started before I had any help with the podcast images, I used to make them all myself. It took a long time, because I was still using editing software like Canva I've been using for years, but it was time consuming, because I kept having to take stuff off, and Canva's got much better recently. Back when I started using it, there was no background removal. The editing images and removing stuff from images was hard. They did it, but it didn't always work. Now it's much better. It's pretty much one of the leaders online now, Canva, for editing videos. For editing images, I would say short videos you can do stuff with, because my videos are quite long. I think Canva would be good for like an introduction video, stuff like that, so maybe mix stuff I do on Canva with stuff I do on CapCut. But I'm starting to learn how to use CapCut a bit better now. Start to use their own stock images, stock background sounds, which I never have done before, because I wasn't sure whether or not YouTube would allow it. But it seems to be, as long as you do it as long as it's all edited within CapCut, that's fine. It's all part of the copyright thing, because they've got copyright for it. But you start taking it off and adding something else and whatever. Whoops, I'm gonna have to get rid of that stupid thing. I'm not used to sitting over this side. I'm going to be a little bit further up. I think that's everything. So yeah, and then I go and sit down and just relieved that it's all done. It can be very time consuming. It's a good few hours for each recording. It's a few hours from start to finish, including the recording. Even if the recording lasts half an hour or an hour, 20 minutes even, it's going to be probably 3 hours of work for each recording. It'd be nice if it was a little bit easier, if it was a bit quicker, and maybe in the future that will happen. I'll just record and just press a button and it'll all be all the process will be done for me. I guess that will be how it will be in the future, but right now I'm fine with it. It's cool. I'm used to it. And the amazing cover as well. And thanks. See, even though I use AI to make covers, I do create them myself. In a sense of it comes from my brain what I want. I mean, with the relaxation stuff or the hypnosis stuff, I can just ask, and I can get a nice background cover, a nice podcast cover, which is going to be very relaxy. But when it comes to the Let Me Boy to Sleeps, I try and put a bit of work into them and try and make them, maybe not the Q&A Friday so much, but maybe sometimes. But sometimes I do try and make them a bit more. I don't know. I'm going to have a look. I don't even know what kind of background covers I do now. Not background covers, podcast covers. Let's have a look. Let Me Bore You to Sleep. So, yeah. So the last one I did was the woman's toilet. That was the one on. So this image, I'm just going to open it up. Yeah, open it up. So you could say, okay, it's been created by AI, but there's been my little touches added to it, and it took quite a while to get to the point where it was what I wanted it to be. It still wasn't exactly how I wanted it to be, but it was, I wanted it to be in a public toilets, like a therapy session going on in a public toilet, and the therapist is super smelly, because that was me, and the client or the patient wearing a gas mask. But you have to do it in bits, because if I said, oh, I want a therapist, and if I just said exactly what I wanted straight away, quite often they said no, that goes against their guidelines. So I have to introduce little things, little changes separately. So to get a decent image, that probably took me about a half hour, maybe 40 minutes to get that one, just for all the little bits. And then I edited it in Canva and added a few different bits in there as well. And yeah, so I'm quite pleased with some of the pictures I come up with. I'm trying to think if there's any particular good ones that. Okay, so Q&A Friday, even Q&A Friday. So the last one I did, it was the image actually did coincide with what I was talking about. So I don't remember what I was talking about, but there's an eagle on there, and there was definitely, I was talking about birds of prey or something, so it had something to do with what I was discussing. But then let's have a look. What's this? Okay, so the image, if I did this was Monday's Born Objects Homes. So see, this picture took me, it really took quite a bit time trying to find this picture. It actually is of, I'm not going to say it's the actual council block that I lived in Newcastle, but it's one of them, if you know what I mean. That's kind of roughly where I was, and it's a genuine picture from like the early 70s in Newcastle, the council block. Of course, there was quite a few council blocks back then in Newcastle and all around the country. So I mean, I think they were just prefabs. That basically they were putting them up, not in a day, but they were putting them up all over the place. Bit before my time, because I lived in them, but I wasn't around when they were being built. Although I have seen them be built, but they take a little bit longer, longer now. So what is this? So again, like just looking for like National Sleep Day 2025. That was Q&A Friday the week before. Sometimes it just takes a while to find what I want, and I've got an idea in my head what kind of image I want and what I want included in the image. And yeah, it's not, I mean, if I was creating the image, I'm not an artist. I'm not like painting the image or anything like that. I mean, that would be like a particularly skillful thing that I have zero skill in, to be fair. I did try the old art. I was never, I didn't have the, I don't know what the right word is. Talent, I think that's the word. So yeah, there's another video here, another image. This is Let Me Bore Your Pain Away, number 15. And it's an image of like a river. But that was very much a metaphor for what I was talking about during the recording. But I had to be very specific. So it took quite a while, even though it's a fairly simple image. It took quite a while before I got what I wanted. And sometimes the images are very subtle in a sense, or maybe they're very obvious, depends. But I'll put stuff in. For example, if I can find it. Okay. This is Let Me Bore You to Sleep, number 1302, 12th of March 2025. Now, some people might not have noticed this, but I put an image is of the actual house I lived in from the ages of 9 or 8.5 to the ages to 15. So that was the house I actually lived in, the literal house. Okay, so it's an image of it, and it's just got my childhood home, and there's a big red arrow pointing towards it. That's a weird. How weird. That's very strange. Something just went really. Very weird. I don't know what that was. There was like a big creaking or something. I hope it wasn't the recording equipment. The camera's gone. I don't want the audio to go as well. Anyway, during that recording, if you look at the image, you might not notice something. So you might have to enlarge the image. But there's a picture of a kid looking through binoculars out of the front window. See, I just added that, and it's tiny. Literally, I can't see it. Obviously, I know it's there because I put it there. But I added that. But on the normal image, it's practically, it's not really even noticeable. Well, to me, with my eyesight. But if you see it, and that was me when I was 14. I was in love with a girl that was best friends with the one of my neighbours opposite. And that was it. It's just little touches like that where you perhaps wouldn't know it's there. I know it's there. It's not just a bit of fun, really. So thank you for that. So thank you, Hilary. Thank you, Ing. Thank you, Rich. Maria asks, do you have any intentions to go back to jiu-jitsu? Also, were you ever interested in other martial art disciplines? You briefly mentioned Tai Chi and Qigong in one of your recordings. Thank you. Not going to go back to Jiu-Jitsu. A couple of reasons. One is financial, but that's not the main reason. It's more physically. My lower back, I can't do all the bending. There's a lot of bending. Also, I'm not. The good and bad thing about, because I only did like a couple of lessons. First of all, is I'm a lot stronger than I realised. Actually, when you're grabbing someone, I know obviously I don't have any skill in what I was doing, but it's definitely someone grabbing me that doesn't have jiu-jitsu skills. Probably not going to overpower me, because I'm fairly strong. I didn't realise, but that's probably just because I've just got so much weight on me. I just sit on someone and be fine. But I didn't enjoy the human contact. I don't like touching. And going back to your original question, the other question, I did karate at school. So all the things I did was kind of from a distance, so you didn't have to touch them. Punch them and kick them, but not have to sort of get close. And it's good. Jiu-jitsu is amazing. I wish I'd done it when I was younger, like properly, when I was in my 20s or, late teens. It would have given me so much more confidence than probably doing karate did. Because one of my issues when I was little, I was really small for my age. And I'm still not particularly, I'm quite short, but I'm not little anymore, so it's, I don't know, it's kind of, I didn't have, even though I was learning karate and I was doing kicking and punching and stuff, in reality, when I was faced against a fully grown adult, who all my friends, most of my school colleagues, friends, whatever you want to call them, most of them were fully grown adults by the age of 15. I was still a kid. When I left school, I was still a kid. I think my voice had just broke, but I was still, I weighed like 8.5 stone. It was just, I was just still a kid. And I didn't feel confident enough, really. I think if I'd have done jiu-jitsu or judo, something like that, I think that would have given me a bit more confidence, because then I'd have learned how to deal with someone a lot bigger. But then in reality, when you go to things like jiu-jitsu or judo contests, tournaments, they have weight classes for a reason. So, as I always say, is like a good big guy will always beat a good small guy. Not always, but it's like they've got the advantage. If they're the same skill set, then their physical size make a benefit for them, an advantage for them. And that's why there's weight classes in boxing as well. And you see that in the heavyweights when it gets to, there's a limit where you can basically just, once you get to, I think is it 14.5 stone is when you get to heavyweight. And there's no limit after that. You can go up to you could be 30 stone if you want. And like Tyson Fury was about 20 stone when he was in the ring. And he was fighting people 5 stone lighter than him, 4 stone lighter than him. And I mean, in all fairness, Tyson Fury beat most of his opponents by outboxing them. So it was his skill, boxing skill, which won the fights. He got knockouts, of course, but it wasn't really, even though a lot of people made a big deal about his size, the fact is he was a brilliant boxer. One of the best boxers, and I don't think he's really, I don't think you'll get given the credit until the future, when people look back and realise just how good he was. I say was, he's retired now, but whether he comes back. And also Usyk, see, you got me on I got myself on boxing, didn't I? Because boxing's on now and I'm not missing it, man. But this is more important. I could watch it on catch up. So I might get myself a pizza in the oven and then watch the boxing, go to the beginning of it, watch it, skip through the adverts and skip through all the chitty chatty, and then, because it's 8 o'clock now, if I start watching it, I'm not going to be able to upload this before I go to bed, so I will do the processing for this first thing in the morning. So I'll cook the pizza, maybe, or I might have, I'm going to eat something anyway. So so I did karate from the ages of like 13 to 15, something like that. I don't know the exact times, but I did stop doing it before I left school. Because as soon as I left school, I started working in a chip shop. And I don't think I went back to karate again after that. In my memory. That's my memory of it. And then I did some kung fu I did some boxing actually when I was at school as well, but only I went once or twice. But it was a different town and it was just a hassle to get there. In retrospect, I wish I'd kind of put a bit more effort in doing it, because that would have been, now I wish I'd done that. That I'd kind of learned to be a boxer. However, at the time, I was obsessed with karate and martial arts. That was my obsession. And I wanted to be Bruce Lee. You know, that he was my hero. And he'd been my hero since I was a little kid. Even when I didn't even know who he was, I had a poster of him on my wall. You know, I woke up to him every day at the age of like 7. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, in it, like. It's Brucey, baby. And during my 20s, I did some kung fu, which was praying mantis. I went there to the same club twice, 2 different times. And again, I wish I'd stuck at that. But I was focused on the comedy and just didn't really care about anything else. And then my early 30s, 2004, I went to Wing Chun Kung Fu. So I did that throughout the year 2004, maybe a bit of 2005 as well. Oh, Vinny's having his water there. And then I also did Jeet Kune Do, which was part of the training as well. And then I moved. I did a little bit of jiu-jitsu for a few weeks actually, but this was when I was 35. But I didn't like, the bloke was a bully. I didn't like the way he was treating us. There's only 2 of us students, which in retrospect, I like that word today. It was a great opportunity to have an instructor with just 2 students. What an opportunity! But he just kept hurting me, throwing me all around the place, and I didn't like it. So I stopped going. And then I actually lived, that place where the jiu-jitsu was, there was a karate club. It was like a big martial arts studio. Literally about 10-minute, 15-minute walk from my house. I didn't want to do karate anymore. Wasn't interested. The jiu-jitsu, I didn't like that either. So I was like, it's weird. I could have actually got back into it back then. And then in 2008, when I was at university, I started going to the boxing club. And this was another martial arts centre, and they had boxing on, I think, 2 nights a week. So I went there for about a year or so, kept injuring myself. I also went to, what's it called? Grav Maga or Mav Gregor or something, which is a self-defense thing. So I went to there as well for a little bit, I think once or twice. But they did kickboxing, they did karate, all this stuff. But I wanted to focus just on the boxing, 'cause that's what I was most interested in. And then when I was 37. When I moved into the place after college, so that was 2011, so I'd have been 40. So when I was 40, I started going to jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu? Not jiu-jitsu. Taekwondo, that's it. I started doing taekwondo. So I did that for a couple of years. I mean, I didn't do it for a couple of years solid, to be honest. I had a couple of breaks. But I think I did 4 gradings. So I did that, lost a bit of weight, like I always do when I train. And yes, I did that for, good, probably a couple of years, maybe a little bit longer. And then, but I didn't, I think I had, because then I didn't get I got that job in 2013, December, in a call centre, so I couldn't really do stuff in the evenings because I was working all kinds of shifts, and I used that as an excuse anyway. I did go back 2014 briefly, and it was fine because I'd only been gone for a few months, so it's fine to keep training. I kept my belt and everything. And I think I went a couple of times, but then my back was too bad, and I had to leave. And I've never ever left any training ever. Even when I've been injured, I've always stayed to the end, even if it meant like sitting down. I still stayed. On this occasion, I had to leave because my lower back was just too bad. I didn't realise I had arthritis at that point, because I didn't. All I knew, it was been getting worse over the years. And I never went back after that, because it wasn't the reason because I left. It wasn't I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed, but it wasn't the reason why I didn't go back. But I just thought, this is not good. This is actually, it felt like it was hurting me. I was hurting myself to do it. And that, like, I was damaging my back. And I thought, no, that's not good. So kicking's not really in for me anymore. I did go to a karate club opposite me that was there. I just thought, you never know, maybe I can do it again. But I haven't really got kicking in me. I can kick. I was never particularly good at kicking high anyway, but I can kick. But I'm just not. I can't continuously kick. You know what I mean? It's like running around. I can't like run around for an hour and kicking and stuff like that. Just no. I just don't. Not without. Because the thing is, there's no adrenaline even when I was sparring. There's no adrenaline, really. For me, it was just all fun. Adrenaline would kick in a serious situation, and it's never serious. It was just fun. Because because with adrenaline, the pain would go, wouldn't it? I wouldn't even have any pain in my back if it was if I was like being serious. It was like a competition or a tournament or something like that. And other than the jiu-jitsu recently, no, that's it. I'd like to get back in boxing, but just for fun. I've got a punch bag here. I've got two actually. I've got a punch bag and one of those balls that you could punch and then get out of the way when it comes back. So I got that and some weights because I have to do exercises for my back, which do seem to help. Although I didn't do any exercise all week until today, and my back was playing up a bit. I don't know. If I do anything in the future, it would have to be with limited movement, which is going to sound weird. I mean, with boxing, boxing isn't limited movement, but it's not being on the floor. Well, I suppose it can be being on the floor if you get hit, but it's not. I don't know. I'd like to do something where I could just be a bit easy, physically easy. And I don't mean where I don't have to do anything, but just so I'm treating my body with a bit of care. Because to me, it doesn't seem any point. And I did this with the boxing. I was injuring myself. I internally injured myself because I was punching too hard and perhaps wasn't warming up enough and something ripped. And I couldn't go for about 4 weeks. So it happened a couple of times. So that maybe it was a muscle or it was something. Anyway, I felt it. So it's kind of something that I can do at my age, because I'm 54, so I need to. If I'm going to do something, it needs to be. I mean, if I didn't have my back stuff, jiu-jitsu would be perfect, really. But I do, and once I bend over, it's difficult to stand up. So if I wash my hair over the shower, I can't bend down for too long. I can't even bend down long enough to wash the shampoo out of my hair. Bearing in mind I ain't got a lot of hair. It's not I've got a short hair. Because if I spend that much time doing that, it becomes even harder to straighten up again. So I have to kind of have little breaks, which means water goes everywhere. I can only do it for a few seconds at a time because it's just, yeah. But it's fine. It's just how it is, what it is, man. But I would like to try something different. Maybe I need to go for something like Tai Chi or Qigong. I've done a bit of Tai Chi. Qigong I've done, but that was at the Buddhist Center. So we had a Qigong teacher there. And I'd say Qigong was my favourite out of the two. It's something really... I know it's a martial art, and if you speed up the movements with Tai Chi, it is punches and kicks and and blocks. So there's no two way about that. It is a martial art, but it's kind of a mindfulness thing. And with Tai Chi, remember, like the holding a ball of energy, an invisible ball of energy, and passing it on to the next person, and just that. Even now, I'm doing it now. Just imagine it, and that physical movement, and pretending to hold this invisible ball of energy. It gets my body tingling a bit like just that. So if I'd just gone like that, it probably wouldn't have done anything. But as I'm focusing on a movement, I think that's what it is. You know, if I just go pick the bottle of water up and drink out of it, I'm going to think nothing. I'm not going to feel anything particularly. But if I think, oh no, I'm going to pick that bottle of water up and notice my hand moving towards it, and notice the feeling of the bottle on my hand and my fingers, and as I pick it up, notice the weight and how that little bit of pressure's on my elbow, and how my muscles in my biceps bulge out so large, like the Incredible Hulk, because the bottle's so heavy, or I'm so weak, one of them. None of that happened. Well, I did actually pick a bottle of water up, but so yeah, at the moment, because I don't really go out, so in the future, I think I'd quite like to look at Qigong again as a meditative exercise, as well as just being good physically and mentally. So lastly, Cindy, what did you cook with all the fresh food you bought? Any recipes to share? No. No. What did I cook? I gave a fair bit of it away actually to neighbours, because I bought too much. There wasn't enough room in the fridge, and the stuff I put in the freezer I knew I was never going to eat, because once it's in the freezer, especially like fresh stuff, I wasn't going to eat it. I just know what I'm like. So I gave a fair bit of it away. I bought way too much salad, and there was no, it's just like, yeah, I need a bigger fridge to hold any kind of large amounts of food. I got a little bit carried away, to be fair, but I did enjoy the Easter egg I bought. I bought an Easter egg, but yeah, yeah, I cooked a few bits, but I didn't really do much in the way of meals, really. Just I just put stuff together and hope for the best, really. And just sometimes I don't even know what I've eaten. It's like, and what did I eat yesterday? I can't remember. I just managed to just get through the day, and cooking. I've got an air fryer now that I've had for I don't know, a while now, about a year, maybe a little bit less than a year. I think it's last summer I got it, I think. And that, it's a little bit bulky, but it does the job pretty quickly. So that kind of suits me. So, you know, I put things together. Yeah, I could be more creative, I guess, but I've got zero interest in cooking. Really, I haven't really ever had any interest in cooking. I mean, I used to enjoy baking, like cakes and stuff, with my first stepmum and with my nan. So I used to do it with my nan when I was, blimey, even in my 20s sometimes. Even in my 30s, I think I used to do it with my nan. We'd go and cook some stuff. But less so back then. But I think in maybe my teen years, later teen years, I'd go around and do some baking with her. And we'd chat and stuff. So that was nice. But with my first stepmum, I loved cooking. She'd do the cooking, but I'd do the mixing and, you know, that kind of stuff. And just spent time with her because I just adored her. So I just loved spending time with her anyway. And that was my opportunity. I wouldn't have cared what we were doing. I was happy just to be with her. So yeah, perhaps I need to start making some cakes. The thing is, well, I will eat them. It's not like I won't eat them, I will. And that's probably not what I need to be doing with my body at this particular time. Which is a shame, because I love cakes. Cakes and a nice cup of tea. Ooh, 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 ooh. Mama. So that's it. Hilary, thank you. Ing, thank you. Maria, thank you. Rich, thank you. Cindy, thank you. Sebastian, I suppose. Did you know about Sebastian? He posts every day. He posts something about me online. Some random website. He'll just on Facebook, some group, and he'll post it with my name, so I always get to see what he's posted. I don't usually comment, but I do get to see what he's posted, and it's always something rude, or he's posted a comment about an image that's been put up. He's so rude. Anyway, I think it's time that I got myself some din-dins. So I will not be editing this till tomorrow morning, because now 8:15. It's going to be 8:45 before my dinner's ready, and then the boxing will be finished by about 11 probably. I'm usually in bed by 10 anyway, but I'll wait until the boxing's finished. So yeah, that's kind of it for the day for me. So, but I'll upload it in the morning, so hopefully whenever I wake up, there might be boxing this morning actually, early on. I don't know. I'm not sure. So I'm going to go. Thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy, and be gentle with yourself. You do deserve to feel safe. So take care. Lots of love. Bye.